The Cruel Summer of 1984. Let's talk. Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, when you think about the 80s, many things happened in 1984. This song was released in 1983 in the UK, but it hit the US in 1984, along with some great movies. A lot of stuff happened. And I want to say thanks to Rhea for being the inspiration for this video because of her post about the song. It started off great. Because I had my first job. For those of you who've been with the channel, you know that I used to work at a donut shop / pizza shop. I used to make $2 an hour back then. And I was talking to this about my son. You know, we were talking yesterday. We went to GameStop yesterday. And I was thinking about the whole time of my life back then where this lady, right, my first boss, she was in her mid-30s, you know, late 30s, and she had this business. She was the business owner. What was your guys' first job? If you put it down in the comments, put it down there and how much you got paid. I got a big $2. All right, guys, so to give you context, this is where it used to be. It's a flower shop now. But the floors that I'm going to be talking about are those floors right there, and it's all throughout the facility. And it's in this shopping center here. So this is the shopping center where I used to play video games in that liquor store, and then right adjacent to it used to be a 7-Eleven. And here she is giving the keys of the business and the running of the business to a 14-year-old kid who had no work experience, right? That's where I was at. There was another lady that worked there during the morning, and I would come in at night after school in order to work there. But when the summer came, my boss was gone. She was doing her vacation, the last thing she was thinking about was the business. She would come in the morning just sometimes to pick up the money and make the deposit, or the other lady would do it. But when the summer hit, even the other lady was going on vacation. So I got to work a lot of hours, and at first I was like, man, this is great. I'm making all kinds of money. If I work 10 hours, I make $20 in a day. Back then, that was a lot of money for me anyway, right? So it was great, but all of a sudden, I remember my friends coming in. And this video is actually inspired by a post that Rhea made about the song Cruel Summer. And I remember that my friends came over, right? And they wanted to talk to me, catch up, and all this stuff. They stopped by the donut shop, and I was helping customers, but I also had to mop. One of my duties was mopping the floor, because of the flour and stuff. It would get dirty because there was donuts and pizza. I would mop it, and then they were telling me about what they were doing. Guys, there were great movies in 1984. There really were, but this song to me is always linked to the Karate Kid, and because of that job, I was able to go see the movie. But yeah, it would play over and over in my head while I was mopping the floor during that summer. The only thing that we could talk about was, video games, which, there was a 7-Eleven, there was a liquor store that kept current video games that I could play there whenever I took a break or something. But other than that, I didn't do much. They were going to the malls, they were going to the mini golf, they were going to the beach. They were going on vacations with their families, and I'm hearing this, and I was like, man, I am missing out on those things, because I'm working here. And I specifically remember mopping the next day. So one of the things I had to do is I had to mop the floor of the kitchen. And in this kitchen, because they were making, they were making pizzas, they were making donuts, there was always yeast, flour on the floor, and LA is hot. So if you didn't mop that, because it's a wet floor and you have all this going on, it would reek. I mean, it would stink. So the way I had to mop this floor is I had to brush it, right? It had those grooves on the floor. I had to brush the floor, hose it down a little bit, and then mop it, right? So I had to go from smelling like a corpse to smelling like Pine Sol, like that was my first duty. And I remember doing that and just, thinking about all the things I wasn't doing, with my friends of the cost that this job had, right? I am earning money, but I'm not being able to do the things that I wish I could do, right? I had to sacrifice. You know, it really started preparing me for a lot of things that I had to do in life later. I had to sacrifice much of my time that I could have been doing other things because I had responsibilities, you know. In this case, I just had a responsibility to myself. I didn't want to be broke, you know. My friends, you know, had two-parent homes and had, you know, parents with college degrees and stuff like that. So they didn't have to do any of the shit that I was doing, right? I was the poor friend. And I wasn't poor like we didn't have anything to eat. I just didn't have, you know, my dad is going to buy me a car money, you know. If I wanted a car, if I wanted anything, I had to buy it myself. So, you know, everything happens for a reason, guys. And during that summer where, you know, they would come by and stop and talk to me and what have you, talk to me about what they were doing. You know, I felt bad that I couldn't do it, but I knew that I was working towards something else, you know. And even if as I was working there, a mall opened up close by, a brand new mall. This was going to be the mall of malls in this area. And, you know, everybody went to go apply there because everybody wanted to be at the mall. That was going to be the place to be, right? Especially in that area. And they say everything happens for a reason. You know, when that mall opened up, they were pretty uppity. Even though these were entry-level jobs, the stores knew that everybody wanted to work there, right? Because it was a social place to meet people too, back in the 80s. So they had posted signs with experience only, right? So I went to the mall once it's open to go look for work, and there was a cookie shop there, and I started working there because I had experience, right? And I've told you the stories about the mall. But if it wasn't for that job where I sacrificed that summer, I would have never gotten to the mall and gotten all the great experiences that I got after that. And but that song still takes me back, man. You know, it still takes me back to those days, to that time. I'm telling you, I can still smell the dirty floor, and I can still smell what it smelled like after I got done mopping it. You know, what a road it has been. You know, a lot of people talk about regrets, but guys, if you regret anything that you've done in life to the point where you are now, and if you are satisfied now, if you have a great family now, if you have loved ones now that you wouldn't change for the world, then you should have no regrets. Because even if you change one thing, you know, if you would have turned left instead of right, everything would be different. You wouldn't have the life that you have today. And if you don't have the life that you have today, learn what I did back in the day. You can work yourself to a better future.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.